Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Job interviews have undergone a lot of changes in the recent past. Now, many people talk about competency-based interview or behavioral interview. What is competency-based interview? Why is it gaining so much of importance? And how is it different from traditional interviews? This is what we are going to talk about in this video. As the name suggests, competency-based interviews try to find out if the candidate has the necessary competencies to be successful in the role that he is being interviewed for. Then what did the traditional interviews do? Traditional interviews tried to find out if the candidate had the knowledge and skills necessary to perform that role. Now we will have to be very clear on what is competency and how is it different from knowledge and skill. I shall explain it with an example. Suppose there are two doctors in a hospital and both of them are heart surgeons. Both of them are equally good in their knowledge and skills. But most of the patients prefer to go to one particular doctor, while the other doctor had very little patients. So the hospital wanted to find out why, because both of them are equally good in their knowledge and skill. So they decided to do some research and they found out that the doctor who was preferred by the patients was very friendly, talks in a very soft tone, and was willing to explain the details to the patients, while the other doctor spoke to the point in a matter-of-fact tone and did not encourage patients' queries. So employers found out that for a person to be successful in any role, his behavior plays a very, very important part. That is why behavioral interviews have gained so much of importance nowadays. So knowledge and skill will help a person to perform the job. But knowledge, skill, and the right type of behavior coupled together will make a person successful in his role. So traditional interviews try to find out if the person has the necessary skills and knowledge to perform that role. Now, competency-based interviews or behavioral interviews try to find out all these three, that is knowledge, skill, and whether the person has the right kind of behavior to be successful in that role. So to be very clear about what competency is knowledge plus skill plus the right type of behavior. This whole package is called competency. Competency-based interview is also known as structured interview or behavioral interview. The interviewer will have a list of competencies that are required for a person to be successful in the role that they are interviewing for. Then the interviewer will prepare a list of questions to be asked to find out if the candidate has each of these competencies. And the questions are asked in a structured manner. That is why this interview is also called as a structured interview. So in order to prepare well for this type of interview, you will have to first of all know what are the competencies that are expected from a candidate for this particular role. For example, if the role is that of a sales executive, an indicative list of competencies that would be expected from the candidate are planning and organization, result orientation, customer focus, influencing capacity, excellent communication skills, business acumen, and flexibility. The competencies expected for the same role may be different in different contexts. For example, a sales executive selling luxury cars and a sales executive selling soaps and detergents would not be expected to have the same set of competencies. So to find out the exact requirement, read the job advertisement carefully. Some of the advertisements clearly mention the competencies required, but if it is not explicitly mentioned, you will have to understand it from the job description. Some of these competencies would be absolutely necessary and some of them would be good to have. So the weightage given for each of these competencies would be depending on whether it is absolutely necessary or whether it is good to have. Competency-based interviews work on the principle that past behavior is the best indicator of future performance. So the questions will be designed to find out how you have behaved in certain situations in the past, how you have dealt with certain types of people, and how you have managed to complete certain tasks. Hence, the questions would be open-ended and would be designed to let you talk about past events regarding specific situations, challenges, decisions, successes, and failures, so that the employer would get a clear understanding of how you behave in specific situations. Remember that each question targets a specific competency that is necessary for the job, and you will have to answer them in the context of actual events with real life examples. For example, a question for a sales executive may be, can you tell us about a situation where you were very close to concluding a sale, but the customer backed out? The purpose of the question is to find out how you handled that situation. Whether you just ignored that customer and tried to find out some other prospective customer, or you proactively tried to find out what the reason was and address the issue, what were the obstacles faced and how you dealt with them, whether you were able to convert that into a sale again, what are the lessons learned, and what proactive steps have you taken to avoid such a situation in future. How should you answer this question? The best method to answer any behavioral interview question is the STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. Situation. This is all about setting the scene and describing the context in 1 or 2 sentences. Task. Tell them what the task was. In a short sentence, describe the challenge or problem that you faced and the goal that you were working towards. Action. Explain what you did and how and why you did it. Talk at length about the actions that you have taken, any challenges that you have faced, and the skills that you used. Result. Finally, describe what the outcome was and how your actions influenced that outcome. In some cases, it will be good to add 1 or 2 sentences to describe what you have learned from that experience. While answering questions using STAR method, don't spend too much of time describing the situation or task. The action part is the key, where you will have to explain in detail the steps that you have taken, because the interviewer wants to know what you have done and how you have reacted to that particular situation. Then the result should show how effective your actions were. Now let us see an example of how you can answer the question that we have discussed earlier for the sales executive using the STAR method. This is only an example. You can answer any behavioral interview question using the STAR method for any role. The question was, can you tell us about a situation in the past where you were very close to concluding a sale but the customer backed out? The answer could be something like this. I was working for a retail company where my job was to promote air conditioners among the customers who walk into the store. An elderly customer inquired about an air conditioner and I helped him to choose a 1-ton air conditioner. He was very interested and he told me that he would come back in the evening to buy it, but he did not turn up. I had to understand why he did not turn up, and hence I called him. He told me that another dealer had offered him a 1.5-ton air conditioner at the same price that I had quoted for the 1-ton air conditioner, and hence he decided to buy from the other dealer. I told him that he is free to choose whichever product he wants, but I would like to help him understand the products better before he takes the final decision. So I inquired with him about the 1.5-ton AC that he has decided to buy. And then I told him that there are 2 important aspects that he has to understand before buying the product. The first one is that I had recommended him a 1-ton AC after calculating the dimensions of his room. Installing a 1.5-ton AC in a room which requires only a 1-ton AC will only increase his electricity bill. The second point is that they are able to give a 1.5-ton AC at the price of a 1-ton AC because it is an old model and it does not have the latest features like fast cooling technology and humidity control. The customer got convinced about the product that I had recommended and he bought that product. Since then we are in touch and he has also referred some of his friends to me. By this answer, you are displaying customer focus, business acumen, convincing ability, and relationship building capacity. So till now we have understood what is competency-based interview, how is it different from other interviews, how are the questions framed, and what is the purpose of each question, and how to answer competency-based questions. Now the next step is to learn how to prepare for a competency-based interview. You will learn that in the second part of the video, which will also be uploaded in the YouTube channel. If you feel that this information was useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe.